Imagine walking into a courtroom like you own the entire building, laughing at the judge, believing your husband's billions make you untouchable. That's exactly what Victoria Ashford Sterling, wife of tech billionaire Marcus Sterling, did. But what she didn't know, Judge Frank Caprio doesn't accept arrogance as a form of payment. And the consequences you're about to witness aren't just punishment. They are the harshest reality check ever delivered in a courtroom. If you're watching this, don't blink. Because what happens next will restore your faith in real justice. Backhand index pointing down, and before we begin, tell us in the comments. Should wealth ever influence justice? And if you believe no one is above the law, hit subscribe, because this story proves exactly that. It's a calm Thursday morning in the Providence Municipal Court. Wooden benches filled with regular people, exhausted workers, nervous defendants, families waiting quietly. The bailiff rises. State of Rhode Island versus Victoria Ashford Sterling. The entire room falls silent. The courtroom doors swing open. In walks a woman who treats the courthouse like her private VIP lounge. Victoria is wrapped in a cream Chanel suit worth more than most people's monthly salary. On her arm, a $50,000 Hermes Birkin bag. Her diamond Cartier bracelets glitter under the fluorescent lights. And yes, her Valentino sunglasses are still on inside. Behind her, a young assistant struggles to carry her coat, purse, and leather case. Victoria doesn't acknowledge her. Not once. As Victoria approaches the defendant's table, she casually raises her phone. No attempt to be discreet. "Darling, I can't talk. I'm dealing with this ridiculous legal theater." Heads turn. "Tell the caterer I want the Belgian chocolate fountain, not the Swiss one." The Swiss one was just so ordinary at the Harrisons' event. She chuckles lightly, hangs up. The room freezes. An elderly woman shakes her head slowly. A man in work boots crosses his arms, irritated. Even the court reporter stops typing, stunned. On the bench sits Judge Frank Caprio, calm, patient, observant. He's seen everything. The scared, the angry, the broken, the regretful. But Victoria's energy, her casual superiority, makes even him raise an eyebrow. She sets her glowing phone on the table like court is a minor inconvenience. Her attorney, Martin Whitmore, whispers urgently. She dismisses him with a flick of her hand, as if brushing away a fly. Judge Caprio clears his throat. "Mrs. Sterling, welcome to my courtroom. Please silence your phone and give these proceedings your full attention." Victoria finally looks up, like she's only now noticing him. She does not silence the phone. Instead, she gives a cold, practiced smile. "You're the judge, correct?" She breathes a soft laugh. "All right, let's just wrap this up. What's the damage?" 5,000. 10. She gestures lazily toward her assistant. "She'll wire it immediately." The assistant looks humiliated. The courtroom sinks back into silence. Judge Caprio does not smile. And in this moment, Victoria still believes her money will save her. Holloway leans forward slightly, hands gripping the edge of the table. "Yes, Your Honor, I understand the words that were read. What I don't understand is why we're treating a professional disagreement as a criminal matter." His attorney, Richard Sterling, touches his arm lightly, a silent signal to let him handle this. "Your Honor, if I may, my client is here in good faith to address what we believe is a gross mischaracterization of a conversation between two city officials who have had long-standing policy disagreements." Judge Caprio nods calmly. "Counselor, your client will have ample opportunity to present his defense. But first, let's establish the facts as alleged." The room grows tense. Everyone leans in. Judge Caprio turns to the prosecutor. Assistant District Attorney Sarah Chun, a sharp, confident woman in her 30s, known for taking on politically sensitive cases. "Ms. Chun, please present the complaint." Sarah Chin steps forward. She doesn't need notes. She knows this case by heart. Your Honor, on March 14th at approximately 7:45 p.m., City Councilwoman Maria Rodriguez was leaving a council meeting where she had presented a proposal for an independent civilian oversight board for the police department. As she walked to her car in the parking garage, she was approached by Chief Holloway, who had attended the meeting but left before it concluded. According to Councilwoman Rodriguez, Chief Holloway positioned himself between her and her car door, blocking her path. The courtroom goes completely silent. This isn't a parking ticket. This isn't a noise complaint. This is power, intimidation, and abuse of authority. Sarah continues, calm and precise. Councilwoman Rodriguez states Chief Holloway told her, quote, "You don't know who you're messing with. I know where you live. I know where your kids go to school." When she attempted to move past him to her vehicle, he remained in her path and said, "Every cop in this city answers to me. You'll never feel safe again." The gallery gasps audibly. Judge Caprio raises a hand. Silence falls like a curtain. Holloway's face reddens, not from embarrassment, but barely contained anger. His hands clench the edge of the defendant's table. Sterling leans in, whispering urgently, but Holloway shakes his head. He wants to face this himself. Judge Caprio fixes him with a calm, piercing stare. "Chief Holloway, these are serious allegations. Before we proceed, is Councilwoman Rodriguez present?" "Yes, Your Honor. She is available via video conference," Sarachin replies. Judge Caprio nods. Moments later, a screen flickers to life. On screen appears Maria Rodriguez, mid-40s, eyes tired but determined. She sits in a professional office, hands clasped, shoulders tense. Judge Caprio's tone softens slightly. "Councilwoman Rodriguez, thank you for making yourself available. I know this is difficult. Please, in your own words, tell us what happened on March 14th. Maria inhales deeply. "Your Honor, I had just finished presenting my civilian oversight proposal to the City Council, something I had worked on for 8 months. I stayed after to answer questions. It was dark when I left, and the parking garage was mostly empty." Her hands tightened slightly. "I was walking to my car on the 3rd level when I heard heavy, deliberate footsteps behind me. I turned and saw Chief Holloway. He wasn't in uniform, just a suit, but I recognized him immediately. I said hello politely, but he didn't respond. Instead, he walked directly toward me with a look that made me uneasy. When I reached my car and tried to open the door, he stepped in front of it, deliberately blocking my path." The courtroom holds its breath. He said, quote, "That was an interesting presentation tonight. I tried to keep it professional." Then he said, "You really think you can investigate my department? You think you can second-guess my officers?" Maria pauses, eyes flicking toward the screen's edge. She steadies her voice. "I explained that the oversight board was about transparency and accountability, not second-guessing." That's when his entire demeanor changed. Maria's voice dropped slightly. He moved closer, close enough that I could smell his cologne. He said, "You don't know who you're messing with." Then, "I know where you live, Maria." He used my first name, too familiar, too invasive. Then he said, "I know where your kids go to school, Lincoln Elementary, 4th grade, Mrs. Patterson's class." A single tear rolls down Maria's cheek. The courtroom is stone silent. Even Holloway has stopped moving, eyes locked on the screen, intensity radiating hostility. I asked him to move. He didn't. He continued, "Every cop in this city answers to me. Every single one. You push this oversight board through, and you'll find out what it's like when nobody answers your 911 call. You'll never feel safe again." Judge Caprio's face hardens, carved from stone. "Councilwoman Rodriguez, how did you respond?" Maria wipes her eye and replies firmly, "I told him I would report the conversation. He laughed, actually laughed, and said, 'Report it to who?' I am the police." Then he finally stepped aside and let me pass. But as I walked away, he called after me. The courtroom is frozen. Whispers ripple. This is power colliding with accountability. And for the first time, Holloway realizes he may have finally met someone who cannot be intimidated. Maria Rodriguez's voice echoes from the video screen. Think about your kids, Marcus. Think about what's really important. Holloway's jaw tightens. Maria continues. I was shaking so hard I couldn't get my key in the door. I left my car, called an Uber, and spent the night awake wondering if I should drop the proposal, wondering if my children were safe. But I realized if I back down, he wins. If he can do this to a city councilwoman, what is he doing to ordinary citizens with no platform, no voice? Judge Caprio nods slowly, absorbing every word. Caprio turns toward Holloway. Chief, you've heard this testimony. Before your attorney speaks, I want to hear from you directly. Did this conversation take place? Holloway stands, ignoring Sterling's attempt to intervene. Your Honor, yes, I spoke to Councilwoman Rodriguez that night. But what she described is a fantasy, a complete distortion. I expressed my concerns about her proposal. That's it. Judge Caprio's eyes narrow, sharp as a scalpel. So, you did approach her in the parking garage after the meeting? Holloway hesitates, caught. We had a conversation. Did you mention her children? Caprio's voice is quiet, cutting. Did you mention knowing where they go to school? Holloway swallows hard. I may have mentioned seeing her at a school event. It's a small city, Your Honor. We run into each other. That's not a threat. That's a fact. Judge Caprio leans forward. Chief Holloway, did you tell her that every cop in the city answers to you? Holloway's frustration bursts. They do answer to me. That's not a threat. That's my job description. I'm the police chief. I command the department. Is it now illegal to state basic facts about my position? Caprio's tone remains deadly calm. It becomes illegal when those facts are used to intimidate and threaten a city official for proposing legislation within her authority. Holloway's face flushes darker, ego simmering. Your Honor, with all due respect, you don't understand the world I operate in. Councilwoman Rodriguez wants to handcuff my officers with bureaucracy. Make them afraid to do their jobs because a civilian board will second-guess every split-second decision. I was trying to educate her on reality. Judge Caprio removes his glasses slowly, setting them down with deliberate force. Chief Holloway, the issue before this court isn't the merits of civilian oversight. The issue is whether you used your position to threaten a sitting councilwoman. And based on the evidence, including your own admissions, the case against you is compelling. Holloway explodes. Evidence? You want evidence? How about the fact I've kept this city safe for 12 years? Crime is down 23% since I took over. When there's a real crisis, everyone in this building calls me. Caprio cuts through the outburst like ice. Chief Holloway, sit down. Holloway refuses, ego overpowering reason. No, Your Honor. I will not sit. Not until you understand how this city actually works. Sterling stands, composed cracking. Your Honor, I apologize. My client is emotional. Can we take a brief recess? Holloway waves him off. I don't need a recess. I need people to stop pretending reality doesn't exist. Holloway steps closer to the bench, eyes flashing danger. You sit up there thinking you're untouchable, ultimate authority. But real power in this city, real power, is what I control. The courtroom is suffocating with tension. Every person present senses the historic moment. Maria Rodriguez on screen covers her mouth in shock. Sarah Chun freezes mid-note. Even the bailiffs exchange stunned glances. Judge Caprio rises slowly, a rare, commanding motion. Chief Holloway, you are dangerously close to contempt of court. Your badge does not give you the right to threaten judicial proceedings. Holloway steps even closer. I'm not threatening, Your Honor. I'm educating you about reality. You think your authority stops at these courtroom doors. You think justice is untouchable. It's not. It's built on infrastructure, systems, and the people I control. Sterling tugs desperately at Holloway's arm. Marcus, stop talking. Holloway ignores him. A runaway train barreling toward the edge. Holloway leans forward on the defendant's table, hands planted with absolute confidence. The certainty of a man who has never faced real consequences. When someone breaks into a house in this city, who do they call? When there's a hostage situation, who handles it? When judges like you receive threats, who provides your protection detail? Me. It's always me. Outside these four walls. I own you. The courtroom erupted silently. Gasps ripple from every corner. Maria Rodriguez's hand drops from her mouth. Eyes wide with horror. Sarah Chin's pen freezes midair. Even the bailiffs instinctively reach for their belts. Holloway continues, oblivious to the reactions. I own this building. I own the security systems. I own every officer who might respond if something goes wrong here. And whether you admit it or not, that means I own everyone in it. This charge disappears. Rodriguez withdraws her complaint. And we go back to reality, where 28 years of service counts for more than political theater. The silence that follows is absolute. 100 people holding their breath. A line has been crossed. Something irreversible has just happened. Judge Frank Caprio stands completely still. 10 seconds pass. The only sound, the ventilation hum, the faint buzz of fluorescent lights. Finally, his voice cuts through, soft but carrying undeniable weight. Chief Holloway, in my 30 years on this bench, I've heard lies, desperation, fear, but what you just said is different. That was truth. Your truth. And it's the most dangerous thing I've heard in 3 decades. Holloway opens his mouth, but Caprio raises a finger. Silence. You didn't intend to reveal who you really are, Chief. You thought you were asserting dominance, but what you did was confess. You confessed to believing your badge gives you ownership over justice. You confessed to viewing public servants, judges, council members, citizens, as your property. You run this city like a feudal lord. Holloway stammers. Your Honor, that came out wrong. I didn't mean. Caprio interrupts, his voice now harder, sharper. No, it came out exactly right. Every word. And that belief, that corruption of what your badge represents, is why you are here as a defendant instead of commanding respect in your office. Caprio slowly descends the steps from the bench, standing at floor level, eye to eye with Holloway. You said I sit there thinking I'm untouchable. You're partially right. I wear this robe, not for power, not for status. I wear it because it represents the law itself. Blind, impartial, unconcerned with badges, bank accounts, or political connections. You think you own me? You think your department, your officers, your security protocols give you ownership over justice? Let me show you what true ownership looks like. He returns to the bench. The courtroom understands immediately. The moment of reckoning has arrived. Chief Marcus Holloway, based on the credible testimony of Councilwoman Maria Rodriguez, and most damningly, your own words in this courtroom, I find you guilty on all charges. Abuse of authority, intimidation of a city official, obstruction of justice. Holloway's face drains of color. Sterling sinks into his chair, knowing any appeal will be nearly impossible. Judge Caprio's voice carries full judicial authority. You are fined $50,000 to be paid personally within 30 days, not from any police fund, union account, or pension. From your personal assets. Effective immediately, you are suspended from your position as police chief without pay, pending a full administrative review. A protective order is granted to Councilwoman Rodriguez. You are to have no contact, direct or indirect, and must remain at least 500 feet away from her residence, workplace, and her children's school. Furthermore, this case is referred to the State Attorney General for investigation into potential criminal conspiracy charges. And I am formally requesting that the Governor of Rhode Island initiate an independent investigation into your tenure as police chief to examine whether others have been subjected to similar intimidation. The courtroom remains frozen, absorbing the full impact. Holloway is powerless, stripped of authority he believed was absolute. The gallery erupts into whispers. Phones record every moment. This is history in the making. Judge Caprio's words echo. No badge, no title, no years of service. No one is above the law. Maria Rodriguez exhales, relief washing over her. Sarah Chun smiles quietly, legal victory secured. And for Marcus Holloway, the reality hits. Power is fleeting. Justice is forever. Fade out. Imagine standing in a courtroom, not as a powerless citizen, not as a scared defendant, but as the most powerful man in the city, a police chief, telling a judge, "I own you." The room goes silent. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then, in one calm, deliberate moment, Judge Frank Caprio strips away decades of authority, pride, and power, proving that no badge, no title, no fortune can ever stand above the law. Stay until the very end, because what happens next is the ultimate lesson in accountability, a moment that will shock you, inspire you, and restore your faith that justice truly exists. If you believe no one is above the law and want to see more jaw-dropping courtroom stories like this, hit that subscribe button now. Thumbs up, like the video, turn on the notification bell, and join thousands who watch justice being served in real time. Your subscription helps us bring more unbelievable, true courtroom dramas straight to your screen. Don't miss the next shocking story.